I'm Justin, etc. from Oakland, California. Tiffany Amber Thiessen played Kelly Kapowski on Saved by the Bell.
Yes, she did.
I was having a drink with Frank Sinatra when Horatio came from CBS to CSI Miami suddenly appeared in the doorway of a bar. A slot of sunlight jockeyed for position against the hazy trace of neon beer signs. He said, "You look like shit, Justin." It was 2 p.m. I bled dry the rest of my bourbon and replied, "Take off your Silhouette Titanium Model 8568 sunglasses. They're distorting the punctuation of the scene." As Horatio filled with his clipped speech, Frank said, "Walk with me, kid," and hired Elton John to croon his greatest hits for background music. And while we revisited the embarrassing steps that got me here, I asked, "What about H?" "No worries," old Blue Eyes rasped. "Someone on his team is being framed or blown up. He'll be busy for a while." And as Benny and the Jets unfolded with cheeky prescience, I started to feel a little uneasy. I wondered, am I accountable for such absurd storylines? Hence my book. I don't know what I'm reading, so I'm just gonna, there we go. I don't know my book yet. It's still random scattered pages. So, registered trademark, Mozart's Subtle Dysthymia. Love is like a bottle of vodka, sterilizing rhizomes for the long goodbye. Often fear leaves these days, late November's isolation for the estranged. The treble of an umbrella, the thought that it's time to start thinking of winter birds, as if actual happiness got waylaid by the beauty and insinuation of a clock. It's terrifying sometimes, but the minutes never really go away, like an echo, or an afternoon spent kite-building reminiscences, to a fragment of a moment when desire and nightmare mingled in the oxygen tent of a lover's touch, hinting with the immediacy of meteorology of malaise. Empathy or introspection, hopelessly flatlined due to tonight's everywhere. Only the quiet turns to snow, and the birds got to the vodka first. Actually, you know what? Since he read a poem about a fish, albeit a dead fish, I'm going to read a poem about a cat. It's not really about a cat, it's for a cat. Stop time paperback for Milo. Top of the morning to you is the Kodachrome of intempestivity. Tomorrow will be antique telephone connections from 1947. Today, I will name my circulatory system Nebraska. To clarify, the picture of a wildflower ex situ is an existential figure. She just slightly shook her hand and began to read the next page of her newspaper. "You were a copy editor," she said, "were you not? CF, IBID, STET, etc. My coffee cup is defibrillator. 2005 was flag flutter in US Electric, even if I couldn't acquire the book to corroborate. It is 61 degrees Fahrenheit now. It was probably steam sterilization then. Soon I think thee tete-a-tete nostalgic. Sometimes there are pleasurable truths in these types of statements. Yes, dear, I once held a rickety red pencil. At that point, the meaning of afternoon was an office with no windows. I kept thinking of snipers and rowboats, the hazards of metaphorical escape in old hat technology, the beauty of waking up thinking of wedding ceremonies in psychiatric hospitals. Psychosomatically, a cup of coffee with Milo. His replies suggest the rough timbre of a deteriorating Victrola. I'm continually finding common sentiments within these definitions of concomitancy. Good Lord, she reacts, Milo's just an engine of self-absorption. Sometimes there are terrible truths in these sorts of slight statements. In some circles, I love you as a chemical grenade. To wit, actual times theoretical raised to the 28th power. I told her her heart was a pocket watch powered by the whisper of little birds. I tell myself, these birds listen to free jazz. I become unclear at this point. The math of a stethoscope to the heart of the matter of her morning movements. For the moment, my general mood, the ABC morning news with Hughes read. There's Steve. Does anyone have a book and you want me to read a poem from it? Because I'm amenable to that. Okay, I'm going to fast forward to part 2. Cadillac Song 22. Seldom egrets cross country in the estuary, so angelic still as to long for it to give up the ghost. You can imagine it improbably everywhere, here, those long, lovely crestfallen mid-afternoons, struggling to write the maudlin but trumpets. Sometimes I forget that you are gone, like a clockmaker with such precision. The temperament of certain common chemistries, so lingering about the ran-on-a-wire evening. I not have had that redolent spring of tangerine wool, William Blake's weaponry, the Monday before Christmas Eve. Hearken the denouement of a blossoming mealy. Focus the reverie, everything may have turned out to be, a want that is to be befallen, this passion, this haunting. Your breasts of acetaminophen and codeine, my murders are Faust's love letters, white sheets and dead Madonnas, the attraction for atrocity, candor, a misplaced encomium. I felt guilty and offered you a grenade. Insoluble love, I thought, the unrequited pleasance. Sometimes, shrapnel in a well-kept teacup. I'd irrigate what we had left with the last of the red wine. But thou lovest now, sad-eyed lady, with twinges and tweeds and tawdriness, discerning, however we were, of tragedy, as we are, in this empire of the pastoral. This poem has been redacted. Wild turkey in the wheelbarrow, take 23. A warm body, someone else's whiskey dream. A CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite broadcast from 72, against the bridal veil of a bank of bougainvillea. I dreamt I was the Duke of Earl. The seams of a tennis ball wearing its doldrums with swoon eulogies and impressive indolence. A spring afternoon of rough draft Riesling and Russian roulette with a bop gun. She said, I would do anything until it hurts. I didn't want to be afraid, so I changed tenses. His heart, a Diana F. toy camera. A summer beneath the trees watching a paper kite burn its bridges behind her. The architecture of which signifies a sonnet. How I loved you, O core of pearl, howitzer of the heart, dancing in the 1860s to John Keats, perhaps listening to a nightingale. Clute was on the TV, the evening Walkman playing Killing Me Softly with this song. It's the italics of the Holy Ghost, tucked into an umbrella, with a Georgie O'Keeffe watercolor of my wife's Delta. When I had said you are full of love, introspection was subject, and I felt something inside of me stop. The systole and diastole of scattered photographs on the carpet. She didn't want to be afraid. All right, 2 more. This is called A Gilded AIDS Porcelain Doll with Consumption. A California Zephyr train schedule, 1966. Portraits of cyber ops or any other mercury thermometers. Socrates in some senescent saloon drinking swill, watching a military parade on parquet floors with wind chimes, with the doves of war wielding the blades from a harrow. 12XU slash through Frank Sinatra speakers. I've got the squall, or if you've got the sleaze, a Hadron Collider in your heart. I'm gonna come for you with all I've got. Ivor Johnson, 1879 six guns, whalebone daggers, nudie suit embroidery. What's in the inframing arsenal of New Year, dear? Snow Queen of Texas, Percocet Cowboy, Highlands Whiskey, Open Heart Surgery, immunity to temptation, a schoolyard Polaroid of your first kiss at a game of tetherball. Oh, you'll hold me in your arms and say once again you love me. And if your love is true, everything will be just as wonderful. Heartbroken, country sad drop D metal Motown vamps. It's serious. These melodramatic statements, Kaiser Soze cigarettes, Royal Trucks cassettes, solemn gospel, myocardial infarction, a barbershop quartet. We got this, champ. Saturday night at the Lusty Lady, 1986. Saturday night in a 1971 Cadillac Fleetwood, Hot Springs, Arkansas. The very heart of the hustle. Rabbit ears, rotary phones, excellent quaaludes, Poppleton v-neck, Aaron sweater knitting kits, cobblestone streets, our latest mistake. Shouldn't we forget about it? Begin to begin, beckoning from the clarinet of her claws. These scenes begin unapologetic, moody and mawkish, text and pretense, a shy grace in the face of such indefinable decisions. Parabolas, jet lag, motoric pulse, Billy Rose's long-stem beauties, extra folding chairs, sultry summertime steeplechase, third base behind MRPS social hall, lipstick traces 24 hours on. There's no solace in her apprehension, even as it escalates. Jack Ward, Hawaii 5:03 3 a.m. Sunday morning, all alone when once lost. The wherewithal to see a genuine reflection of oneself, reticent and elusive. And then this is the most recent. Bare knuckle flamenco gasoline aurora. Maybe that's why it's languorous. I'm usually dress rehearsal for balloons, moaning ohms from an orchid. It's literally actually fucked up. Somber melancholia, moody sorrow, strange abstract medical material with flamenco sketches, brutal lamentations, desperate lyricism, despite the lyrical you. Can taste the bourbon and basil on her lips. An image so elegant, as if whiling away time on a Tenerife tugboat traditionally. Butcher knife and swing band. These days are the beautiful and slightly profane. It's just this lacerating noise, the phrase becomes the pulse of the paragraph itself, perhaps. Within me, a lunatic sings, I'm sure. Banality is most straightforward. A pink palm tree growing out of an Iverson Pond Empire revival, lusting after an angle in a trigonometry book. Quaaludes and yacht rock, and a swooning bolero, perhaps nothing here, is more strikingly beautiful than the whimsical tricycle of one's heart. And then maybe Frank Sinatra and Quaaludes, since that seems to be the images. Thanks, everybody.